Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We had two very intense games go down yesterday that we're going to be talking about, as well as some news about the Nets and their new head coach. I can't wait to hear what the Fumble Squad thinks about all of that. But first, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Now, here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? Jackie Ray here. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey guys, it's your girl Blurry Brit, and you can follow me on all social media at IamBritJohnson. I am so mad that Chris is not the blurry one today. Like, why is it me? Why?
I don't know. Chris figured out the blur situation because he's been clear now 2 days in a row.
I know.
Yeah, I had a stern conversation with Spectrum the other day, and it's looking like it worked. All right, so hopefully that was what it was.
You say, let me speak to your manager. Did you do that? Is that what happened?
Nah. I gave him the Jackie. What we not going to do is make me spend all this damn money on some internet that I'm not going to get. And then
I like that too. I like that too.
I mean, look, if Michael Jordan's son has trouble with internet issues, then it's a universal problem.
So it's a Jordan thing? Is that what you're saying? I think Jordan's the GOAT that now is blurry. Is that what you're saying?
You on that Marcus Jordan internet?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blurry vision.
I wasn't even trying to make any comments about that, but you know, maybe I'm not sure what it is.
Now indirectly a diss to Jordan's yellow eyes that he had all during the whole entire dance. And so the blurriness is because you're seeing Jordan. This is what Jordan sees through his eyeballs. Really? Is that what's happening?
You just made this whole story that no one even had in their head.
I feel attacked.
Also, I just want to say again, Chris, you were wrong once more. Jackie, you were right there.
Wait a second. See, Chris and I got here early. Chris and I got in here early because we knew that was going to be the only time we had some peace. That's the only time we knew we were going to be able to say to each other. We thought that Houston was going to win, but we wanted OKC to win.
We wanted we both said that yesterday.
Listen, you put your bet on OKC.
No. We both said if it was about money, we wouldn't bet on OKC.
Thank you.
We both said that.
Check the receipts.
I actually rewound it, and I cut that little part up, and I can forward it to Leo right now, and he could throw it up there because I knew y'all was gonna do this.
And I can screenshot the comment in the chat.
You guys, I mean, I still remember very clearly that we talked about the 5 heads being on one team and the middle people being on another team. So regardless of what you were saying,
whatever.
Do a high five, Chris.
Is this way?
Wait,
this way. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's jump into
We're supposed to just from across the way.
Hey, yo, me and Jackie gonna be collateral damage. Be careful with that. Don't do that.
I know, duck, Chris. You got to duck. You got to let them go across. Wait. There it is.
There we go.
Okay. Hilarious.
So funny. It is very hard to figure out which way to look and which way to move your camera. Everything is backward. Yeah, it's so hard.
Oh,
okay. Let's talk about these referees from yesterday. Let's start off by discussing Chris Paul and Scott Foster. They have a tense history with one another. CP3 has been on the receiving end of 10 consecutive losses that have been reffed by Scott and his crew. James Harden had a similar experience with Scott as well. And after the game yesterday, Chris put Scott on blast. And I have that clip for you. But first, I just want to tell you this main incident that occurred. So in the second quarter, Chris Paul stepped in front of a driving James Harden. He got called for a shooting foul, but thought that maybe James should have been the one called. Ultimately, the Rockets didn't challenge. However, Scott whistled Paul for a delay of game, which was OKC's second, which gave the Rockets a free throw. And so let's just play the clip. Leo, if you can roll that first clip for us, I just want you guys to hear what he had to say.
Scott Foster walked over to me and told me, Chris, you ain't got to do that. I got him sweeping up the floor. Okay, cool. So I started tying my shoe back up. He still called the leg game. That shit don't make no sense. But I don't know.
And then he went on to say, we could have won the game, but that situation, the league knows they're going to find me. They know the history. I said his name. And then according to Mark Spears, Scott also, quote, made a point to tell Chris Paul that he also refereed his Game 7 loss to San Antonio back in 2008. So kind of like stirring the pot. So we have a second part to this story as well, or we're going to be talking about the BUCS and Giannis. But first, Chris, I heard your reaction when he played that clip. So what's your overall thoughts on that call and on what Chris Paul had to say?
Oh, I'm with Chris Paul 100% of the way. No, I co-sign. I'd laugh because of how real it was. And I'm a fan of when, these guys go off script a little bit with the whole, we did what we were supposed to do. Nah, he was straight up with this. So I laughed at it because I loved it. I'm with Chris Paul on this one. I don't think I'm in the majority that it was all Scott Foster's fault. I feel like, the Thunder made some mistakes that we'll probably talk about a little bit later. But for that particular moment that he's talking about there, and with the history with him and Scott Foster in Game 7s, I'm co-signing that all the way because it's fishy. It's a little fishy.
Definitely. Well, okay, let's talk about this other call that people were upset about in the BUCS versus Heat. So the Miami Heat took a 2-0 series lead over the BUCS with their win in Game 2. But the way they won it was pretty unconventional, thanks to a call by the officials on Jimmy Butler's attempted buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter. So I have another clip that Leo is going to roll for you right now. We don't need any audio on this one. I just want you guys to see what happened. So Leo, whenever you're ready to put that one up there. So you can see here, even the commentators were like, wait, where was the foul in that one? What was that, Chris?
I was just saying, let me land.
Yeah.
That's all I said. That's all I was saying about
more contact on that one, though. There was more 100%. Contact on that one than the one before. And
100%.
I feel that's why they called it, because the call before there was no contact, and I feel like they were just making it up. They do this all the time.
Yep, make a call.
Well,
unofficial official.
A lot of people were really upset about this. They said it wasn't a foul, said it was horrible officiating. People called for the refs to be canceled and reprimanded. Even other athletes were tweeting about it. Bradley Beal tweeted, no, they didn't. Jamal Crawford said it was a tough way for a game to end. So, Britt, let's go to you first on this one. I just want to hear your overall thoughts on that call. Was it worthwhile, justified? Let me know.
I didn't watch that game, so I have no idea. Sorry.
She had no dog in this race. She said it.
No,
I'm ready for today. They're ready for today.
But I didn't watch that game. I don't be watching Game 2s of series. Sorry. So I have no dog in that race.
Okay, then Jackie, you had a reaction, so tell me your thoughts.
Just what I said. The call before, God, I don't even remember who, but thank you.
Dragic. I remember it. They called it Dragic on Chris Middleton. It was a trash call.
There was zero contact. Dude just had his hands up. There was zero contact. He went up. It just hands up. There was no contact. There was no reason to call the foul, but they called it. And so then this call is the very next play. So and there was more contact on this one than the one before. They do this all the time. It was literally a makeup call. They were like, oh, damn, well, there was contact on this one. We have to call something because we called a foul over there and there was no contact. It was, and I get it. People are like mad, but at the end of the day, refs do this all the time. They've been doing this since I've been watching basketball. So you can't let the refs beat you. You just have to score more than the refs are doing these foul calls.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think about the win then? Do you think that the Heat's win was deserved yesterday, or what are your thoughts?
I think they called the same thing on the other side. So they zeroed each other out. So, I mean, yeah, I think like if there was more basketball things that I saw that the Bucks were not doing that I think contributed to their loss. There was literally people on Twitter saying, look at Giannis winning Defensive Player of the Year because his defense was lackluster during that game. I think the Bucks did enough to lose that game themselves. I think putting it on the refs is easy, but it's not warranted. They lost that game on their own.
Yep, I agree with that one. Them and the Thunder.
Well, there were a lot of angry people online about the refs. They're getting a lot of hate. So if you're watching in the chat, let us know what you think. But let's move on to this news about Steve Nash. This is obviously big news. The Brooklyn Nets just hired Hall of Famer Steve Nash to be the team's new head coach. And a lot of NBA players are very shocked about it, but they're also excited about it. So Steve doesn't have any coaching experience, but he does have a history of leadership, and he has those basketball instincts thanks to his career in the league. He also has a strong friendship with KD, and that's a lot of people think that that's a big reason why he got the job. So people were reacting to the news online. Isaiah Thomas tweeted, "Damn, that's dope. Nash taught me the one-legged runner." Terrence Ross tweeted, "Steve Nash, though." Darrell Wright said that this hire is fire. It's like, I feel like I'm a Dr. Seuss book. And then Baron Davis tweeted that he thinks he should go into coaching as well. But of course, not everyone was celebrating this news. Trevor Booker tweeted, quote, "Definitely happy for Steve Nash, but super disappointed in the Brooklyn Nets. So many well-qualified African-American candidates, and they get looked over by someone with no experience at all. The only reason they felt comfortable doing that is because Jacques Vaughn stayed on board as the top assistant." Richard Jefferson tried to push back on this perspective, reminding everyone that Steve's new role is based on his experience in the league and insight into the game, but it's not entirely outrageous to wonder why Jacques didn't get what he was overlooked. This role, right, was shut down, as we all know, and he did a really good job with that. He won 2 games before the postponed season. He led the Nets to a 5-3 record in the bubble, despite not having several players on the roster. And yeah, I mean, he did well enough in the bubble to impress the front office. He was considered for the head coaching job, but instead is staying as lead assistant coach. So, Jackie, was it unfair to give Steve Nash the head coaching job over Jacques Vaughn?
So I probably would have more respect for Steve Nash. I can't remember. Britt talked about it one time. There was an executive that stepped down and said, "Hey, give my job to a well-qualified Black person."
Serena Williams.
Oh, Reddit. Yeah, Reddit.
So if Steve Nash had said, "Hey, I appreciate this opportunity, but go ahead and give it to Jacques because he out there, he did the damn thing. And I've never done this. I don't have the experience to do this. Let me take the assistant position. Let me get some training under me, but we don't have enough African Americans that are in this position. Let's do that." If he would have said that, I would have more respect for the situation. But having somebody, everyone says, "Oh, his insight to the game." We've talked about it on this show countless times. Just because you play well does not automatically mean that you're going to coach well. You know what I mean? So that's just a thing. And without him having any experience, I think it is a slap in the face, especially because the only reason he will do well is because of Jacques. So to me, it's just a slap in the face. And I don't know. I don't know if I would have stayed there. And not even if it's not Jacques, there are other well-qualified African-American coaches who have experience who you could have put in that position, and you chose to hopscotch Steve Nash in there. So I don't know. I think the level of disrespect is just a little too real. And I think if KD is the reason for that, then whatever y'all say bad about or Kyrie, I think then we can put them in whatever box you want to put them into.
So, Britt, are you with Jackie on this one? Do you feel that the people who are critical of this new hire have a point?
I mean, yeah, there's a point to be made for sure. I don't really think it's a white thing. I think it's just he's a 2-time NBA MVP and Hall of Fame kind of guy. He's going to be, he's that guy. So I feel like it's more that, because I remember, I know somebody just said in the comments, my own head coach, Doc Rivers, became a head coach without having any experience as a head coach. So, and he's Black. So I feel like it's not like necessarily like a white thing. Obviously, this is really, it sucks because Von's been coaching for 10 years now. So it is a slap in the face, and he was able to do something with a team that was not his team. You know, it's none of the guys that he was anticipating playing with, even guys that were supposed to necessarily go to the bubble to cancel out. And there's, you know, other guys coming in, they're bringing guys up, doing all this kind of different stuff. And they still were decent, you know? So like what he was able to do with the team that's not going to be the team that's going to be showing or hitting the court next season, in, you know, KD coming back and Kyrie coming, stuff like that. I think it sucks that he's not going to get that moment. And I go back, I always talk about Mark Jackson. You guys know, I still to this day, I say that is his team. All those are his championships, because they just didn't let him continue to develop the team and then bring Steve or Kerr in, and then he has this situation where he's just win, and then it's like, oh, look what Steve Kerr, that's Mark Jackson's team, that's his team, you know. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen in this situation, though, because he's still staying in as a coach, you know, so he's literally going to still be the one developing these guys and, you know, making a lot of the calls in situations, but Steve Nash is going to get all the glory of it, which sucks, unfortunately. But sometimes that's just basketball. And I've talked, I remember I had a conversation with Matt Barnett, because we have guys like Greg Popovich, who never played at a professional level in the league, but still one of the greatest and most respected coaches. But a lot of times, more often than not, players listen more to people that they feel like were that person, whether they're a good coach or not. Like if LeBron came in and Ty Lue came in as coaches, and maybe people think maybe Ty Lue is a better coach than LeBron, people are going to listen to LeBron because that's LeBron James. So that's just the situation. It kind of comes in as just an automatic respect that's given instead of like the earned respect. But unfortunately, I think Von earned the respect, you know, and so it's sad that the organization didn't see that.
Yeah. Chris, I'd like to hear from you on all of that, but I'd also like to hear how you think the Nets will do with Steve Nash at the helm, personal feelings aside. So fill me in on you think that Jacques was
no Knicks crap.
No. I do have a lot of thoughts of it, and it's all Knicks. I know I'm wearing my Knicks hat, but all that aside, I once again, as always, I feel like I'm right there in between Britt and Jackie, because as far as the hire, I'm with you on what you're saying, Jack, but at the same time, it is also the Nets, and this is not my Knicks fan talking about, it's just Brooklyn. They've done this. Look at what happened with Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd retired a week ago, and then he got his job, and then that started the history of Jason Kidd as the head coach. But then also there have been many situations where we've seen that, like Britt just mentioned, with Doc Rivers and Derek Fisher. But we have to also remember, both of those guys got their jobs right off the bat after retiring to bad teams. Doc Rivers went to the Magic with my boy Tracy McGrady, but it was after Grant Hill was injured. They had the shell of himself, Patrick Ewing, all those kinds of stuff. He never really had a chance. He had a superstar, but he didn't have a good team. And then he bounced around until he finally got a good team and showed that Doc Rivers can actually coach with Boston. And I think that is where I'm a little bit more upset about the Nash. I'm not upset with Nash. I'm not even entirely upset with Brooklyn. I just, my frustration with it is, I feel like it's frustrating to see, you know, coaches like Steve Nash or white coaches get the opportunity to have their first coaching job be with a team that could possibly be, exactly, because he's jumping in with a healthy Kyrie Irving, with a healthy Kevin Durant, when Jacques Vaughn, who did a good job. He did a great job. I'm a Knicks fan, but he did a great job. As soon as he got that job, he said, look, Doc, or what's your name? Look, DeAndre, I know you're DJ. You've been a starter in the league your entire career, but I'm bringing you off because I got to put Jared Allen because the young guy. But Jared Allen's the better, and he made a lot of shifts that worked for the team, and that's why they were able to stay afloat and stay in the playoffs. So my thing, that's more where the beef I have with it is. Nothing against Steve Nash. I'm actually happy for Steve Nash. I think he'd be a solid coach. We'll see what happens. So to answer that question, I think it'll be good. But at the same time, when you have the team that he has in Brooklyn, I don't know how much he actually has to do besides just make sure the chemistry is right. Because by names, they got a lot of good players over there in Brooklyn. I'm not excited about it, but hat off that they got a solid team. So I'm more upset with the fact that Steve Nash is just going to be handed this job and hopefully be able to boost his wins, losses for his coaching career off the jump. When guys like, because there's the Bulls that have the open coaching spot. There's good teams like the Pelicans and the Sixers, and we're hearing about the Sixers and Ty Lue might be. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, like, watch like a Mark Jackson, watch any of these other black coaches like Nate McMillan or somebody. Watch them go to the Bulls, and the Bulls end up still sucking, and then we put that on the coach rather than if we had give Steve Nash that job. And then it wouldn't have been the same story if Steve Nash had got that job. So that's what I'm saying. I'm right in between both Britt and Jackie. I think Steve Nash will be okay with it. We've seen them do it before, so I'm not going to hold them up for doing what they did by giving somebody with no experience the job. I'm okay with that. But it's kind of upsetting because, Mark Jackson, who knows what Mark Jackson could have done with talent? He's never had talent. He never got to have his talent. He developed the talent, then got booted. You know what I'm saying? Even somebody that I'm very critical in with David Fizdale. He coached my Knicks when they were not a good team. The teams that were given to David Fizdale were not good teams. I had problems with some of his coaching styles, but he never had a good team. So who knows if David Fizdale got a good team in the Brooklyn Nets? Who knows? And the list can go on and on. Jacques Vaughn, same thing. So I'm on both sides. I think, it might work out for the Nets, but at the same time, it's just like it's a never-ending story, and we'll see what happens next with other coaching jobs because there's other spots that need to be filled. Pacers, another team.
I think I'm just more upset with the Nets, their response to it, too. They were like, Jock made a solid impression on us. We really like him, and we would have given him the job if we weren't able to talk Steve Nash. Because, Steve Nash has turned down this opportunity several times before. Exactly. And they're like, if we couldn't have talked him into it, you did so good that we would have given it to you. But we were able to talk him into it. Like, why? Because now, again, I think we need to
somebody else to coach when they're there that's already qualified.
That's a background compliment. I've proven myself to you. You've said I've proven myself to you, but you just want this guy with no experience because why? And like you said, he's far removed from some of his success. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think to me it was a definite slap in the face, especially in this climate that we're in. And you have this guy that, like Devin and Britt said, worked with nothing and had to work with a team that he doesn't even know like that, and was still had.
So also remember. And this is why I feel like this is connected to Kevin Durant, because don't forget, Steve Nash was a part of the coaching staff in Golden State. He was part of the shooting staff for Golden State. So I feel like that could have a big part to it, and where Kevin Durant might be like, he could be a great head coach. Let's bring him on. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of pieces to that hire.
He's technically marked as a consultant during that time. Exactly. He wasn't like really like
he was a consultant. But he get a lot of credit for the Clippers. So I'm just saying, like, it holds a little bit more weight.
I don't know. I mean, whatever success he gets too is going to be tied because Jock's going to have him have to show him the ropes. This isn't going to but he's going to get all the credit for it. And I just that's gross to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think you guys all make really great points. Jacques obviously has a proven track record, a very recent proven track record of being able to make something out of nothing. But I also feel the same way as you, Chris, like Steve Nash, maybe he'll come in and do a really great job. I'm not mad at that necessarily, but I could understand why Jacques would feel like that's a definite slap in the face. We'll have to see what happens. We'll be watching the Nets, much to Chris's dismay in the upcoming season, but that wraps everything up for me, you guys. So, Chris, take it away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the post up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition. And Jacques Vaughn's another one, too. He's another one that got an opportunity right after he retired, but again, bad team. He went to Orlando Magic. I just also wanted to point that out, too. Jacques Vaughn also not getting a chance. But just we'll move off of that because we are talking about the post up. And we're starting off with Mr. Defensive Player of the Year himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, we saw the picture earlier, if we can get the picture up of Giannis being so sad. We saw the picture right at the end of the game where it was 0 seconds left on the clock, tied game 114-114. But what you can't see is Jimmy Butler is getting ready to hit a few free throws to seal the deal for the Heat to go up 2-0 in this series. But Giannis is feeling very, very upset. And we're going to have a theme today with some of these conversations because obviously an upset Giannis when the BUCS are number 1 overall seed and now your team is facing the 0-2 deficit. This is where all the Photoshoppers and all the conspiracy theorists come out and believe it's time for Giannis to get out of there. And we're starting off with Golden State Warriors number 1 or number 2, number 3, top 5 fan, Mr. Chris, who we know as Golden State Warrior Chris on Twitter. He had put up this tweet right here of this same video of Giannis looking frustrated. But he said this, saying, enough is enough. Come home, Giannis. And of course, you can't see it, but if you go on that same tweet, you scroll down, oh man, the top-notch photoshops are followed by it. You see Giannis high-fiving Stephen Curry. You see Giannis over there in his Golden State Warriors jersey. You see Giannis on the Golden State Bridge. All the stuff all in the world because all the Photoshop is come out for that. Because people like to equate when one person's upset about something, that means that ultimately they're done with the city and they're getting the hell out of there. Kind of like we were talking about with Donovan Mitchell. Now, he's probably very frustrated because, like me and Jackie mentioned, he knows he fouled him. So for the game to end the way it ended, sure, it wasn't conventional, but at the same time, he knows he fouled him. And regardless of if it's a makeup call or not, you got to let the dude land. You did hit him on the body. That's the way it is. So he's frustrated with that. And he also didn't play a great defensive game throughout. But, of course, we're going to turn that into Giannis possibly leaving. Is that the case? We'll have to find out next time on NBA Possibility Conspiracy Theory Post Up. I don't know. I have a name. We're working on the title. I don't know. But Giannis is upset. Now, we're going to keep this same energy of people overblowing pictures or responses from people, because now we're talking about Joel Embiid, who put up some tweets that had everybody going insane, which proves to me, okay, well, first, let me read the tweet. Joel Embiid put up this tweet saying, I'm still really unhappy. This tweet right here and the reaction by people proved to me that commercials do not work. Because I don't know about y'all, but damn near every commercial break watching the NBA playoffs, I see this dude and his Mountain Dew commercial all the damn time. And what he says in the commercial is, this is Joel Embiid, and he's not happy. I'm really unhappy. That's what Joel Embiid says. So obviously, since Joel Embiid and his Sixers are not playing because they got swept by the Celtics, had to put it in there, you know, I had to do it. But his team got swept by the Celtics, so he's at home watching the game like the rest of us. So he saw his commercial, and he was very excited about the commercial, and he put up, I'm still really unhappy. Well, instead of people going by what the commercial said and sending him, memes and gifts to make him smile and make him happy. No, everyone's talking about like, oh, he's getting out of there. It's time. Sixers going to trade him. It's over. Rada. Then more Photoshops came up. Saw him in all kinds of different jerseys. Miami Heat, this, that, and third. It's been crazy, and it's so funny because then he even laughed at us later on by tweeting him saying that he really loves that Mountain Dew commercial, and then even followed up by saying everything is good and trust the process. So obviously he was quoting his own commercial, but nobody saw that because everybody thought that this was the end. I'm seeing articles now that Joel Embiid wants out of Philly because of his tweet saying he's still unhappy and blah, blah, blah. Commercials do not work. I'm convinced now. That's it. Commercials don't work because that commercial comes on damn near 85 times a game, and there's several games in the day. So, and no one could connect the two, but whatever. But anyway, everybody went crazy with that one. With Joel Embiid, I sent him a GIF. I didn't put it up there. I sent him a GIF. I hope it made him smile, but I got no likes, so probably not. Moving on. We saw a moment between with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat and Dwayne Wade. Now, Dwayne Wade obviously is not in the bubble, but he was front row and center former team play in so far a great series for Miami because they're up 2-0 in the series. And even though there's no fans in the stands, or there is some family in the stands and whatnot, technically those were the two BUCS home games, even though it really doesn't matter in the bubble. But the Heat jumped up and took a 2-0 lead. And Dwayne Wade was front row and center. And Jimmy Butler, who just got subbed out of the game, went over and made sure that he gave Dwayne Wade some love and dapped him up. Obviously, it's going to be a little delay, so Dwayne didn't see it. But, Jimmy Butler's showing his boy some love. And, so, it's a cute moment. Obviously, and we always talk about how these people, like the players or, people who are connected to the franchises or diehard fans and stuff like that, we always talk about how they get, like, the worst spot on the virtual fans. Like, they'll be in the top left, and you have to be searching to see them. No, look, Dwayne Wade right there. I don't know if he said something, he made a call or something, but he's right there with the Miami Heat bench, which is where he should be. But, yeah, that's a pretty funny moment there. But going to this Rockets and Thunder game, I know we didn't mention it enough, and I'm going to give this space for us to have a conversation about the referees in a second. But before we even get to the referees, I need to talk about that last play because I don't know about y'all, that last play really frustrated me. I thought Billy Donovan has done a tremendous job as a coach this year. I thought he was in the running for coach of the year, especially with the odds of this team supposed to be even being in the playoffs. People were already talking about them, who they're going to get in the top 3 in the NBA draft and stuff like that. But this team is 5th in the Western Conference. So Billy Donovan's done a great job this year, but man, he showed that, we are all human, and he had to slip up because those play calls at the end of the game were atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And Channing Frye, who, is a one-time world champ, didn't really do much, but nonetheless still a champ. Look, if we could talk about Flash Gordon being the champion, we can talk about Channing Frye being the champion. But regardless, he was very upset in the same way I was about that final play for the Oklahoma City Thunder because it made no sense. So, Channing Frye, please take it away with your frustrations, my guy.
Guys, move him this way. Move him this way. Put the fucking 7-footer right here. What is PJ doing? Who ran this play? Who fucking ran this play? Look at this play. Look! Steven Adams just dived to the rim. He's wide open. Stop! Yeah, Mark Jackson says so! I'm done.
Yep. Nope. They didn't listen to you, Channing. They didn't hear you because what ended up happening was big old 7-foot Steven Adams going to the rim where he has PJ Tucker on him. No, he decided to come to the ball where I guess he was supposed to get the ball and take a jump shot because Shea gave him the ball and turned it over, and that was the end of the game. Now, that to me, like I said, the referees were terrible in this game, and I want to actually talk to you guys about that right now. But to me, also, the Thunder, they had shots and they blew it to the point where they lost the game the way they did. But going back to the referees, Britt Johnson, I wanted to come to you. I know you say you didn't watch that the Bucks Heat game, but I know for damn sure you watched this Thunder Rockets game. And like we talked about the referees with the Bucks game, there was some referee issues as well. Like, we mentioned the Chris Paul thing and Rada, and even to the point at the end of the game where there was 2.1 seconds put up and all kinds of craziness. Britt Johnson, talk to me about the referees in this game. Do you really feel like Scott Foster and the refs were the ones that at fault for this game, or do you think it was the Thunder? Who do you think is really to blame here for the loss of that game for the Thunder?
Listen, this was the basketball gods that came through and made everything as it should be. Because let's not forget, Jackie talked about it. Game 3 of this series, the Rockets should have been up 3-0 on this series. They missed a huge call against Dennis or whatever in that game, and the Rockets would have won that game. So the Rockets would have been up 3-0. You're really going to tell me you guys think the Thunder could have won 4 straight games and then become champ or move to the next round out of the first round? No, won 4 straight games. The Rockets would have already won this series. So let's be very clear in that moment. This was the basketball gods just evening everything out and making it as it should be. Like, that is just plain and simple. Like, we talked about it before. They missed stuff in this game that it comes back for them in this game. Scott Foster don't like James Harden, and he don't like Chris Paul either. So it doesn't matter. I don't think one or the other in this situation. He don't like both guys. Both guys have terrible losing records when they have Scott Foster as their ref. Both of them do. So I don't think they were being favored over one or the other, blah, blah, blah. I think really, and Jackie said it in this show earlier today, you should never get close enough to where the refs can change a game and be the difference in the game. You got to just outplay the refs in some instances. And this has been the bubble the whole time. Y'all know this. Y'all know this about sports, period. It should never come down to a ref's decision anyway. And that's your duty to figure that out. But I think this was just the basketball gods making everything as it should be, because the Rockets should have already won this series prior to this moment. And I really believe that off of game 3. Like, we knew game 3. The NBA admitted that the Rockets should have won game 3.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't think the Thunder would have been able to hold a four games and win all 4 games like that. So I think this is just as it should be. So I don't really care what random missed play or missed call or whatever, bad call, yada yada. They did, and to the refs' point, like there was a lot of really good calls that they made that a lot of people didn't notice that they picked.
And no calls.
Yes. Calls and some no calls and stuff like that. So it is just what it is, and that's always been sports and basketball. I saw some people on here that were tweeting earlier, defund the refs and stuff.
I saw, in that chat.
I think at that point, but I think this is just as it should be. The Rockets should have been the team to move on, just based off what happened earlier in the series. So that's where I stand with it.
So that game 3 gave the Thunder all the momentum. Okay. All right. Okay. So all right. So it wasn't the Thunder, not the rest. It was the basketball gods who I choose to no longer believe in because they continue to curse my Knicks. But yeah, I see that 100% because game 3 is won by the Rockets.
You pray harder, Chris.
Bro, we need a whole show for that, man.
We talked about that yesterday. You gotta be specific in your
Jackie,
prayer.
I was. And the thing is, I was being so giving. Like, I wasn't even being greedy. I was like, look, I don't want the first pick. Just give me 3. Like, I'll take 3. They said, no, you can go down 2 spots to take 8. We're not talking about this. That's not what it's about. All I'm saying is that the basketball gods, I can see that for sure because, that game 3, you said it. They admit, the refs came out and admit that the play was missed. Move on. And I've never been a fan of that. We said it on this show. Nobody on this panel was a fan of that. But all was right. I still feel like the Rockets are not going to be able to do a damn thing against the Lakers. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, basketball gods, referees, or Coach Billy Donovan, whoever it may be, regardless, the Thunder are going fishing. And we are moving off of that. But first, before we move on, I got to talk about, I'm surprised his name wasn't even said up until this point. I gotta talk about Lu Dort. As you guys see in the title, you see him on the Thunder. Lu Dort went out there and he played. He had a good series. Now, Lu Dort, before any of this, first of all, nobody probably knew him unless you are a Thunder fan. And if not, shout out to you. I didn't know about him, didn't know much about him. I just knew he was a defensive big dude that got a lot of muscles. That's all I knew about him from the draft, and that was it. Then he went undrafted. But regardless, he had a good series, but he had an even better Game 7. So much to the point where he outplayed 2 MVPs over on the other team. That's a conversation for another day. But also, he did get rooked by James Harden because at the end of the day, you can have all the points. James Harden said, when it matters, I'm here, and he got that block. So, got to give James Harden his due for that. But regardless, with 30 points from Lu Dort, he is in some elite company. As you see to my here's the directions again. To my left, but my right on screen, you see that he is one of 3 players to ever score 25-plus points in a Game 7 at the age of 21 or younger. Just 3. And that is Kobe Bryant, Lebron James, and Lu Dort. So shout out to Lu Dort. Look, all the praise, all the love from him. I hope that he's able to continue it. I hope that, for his sake, Chris Paul stays, because Chris Paul has been very, very monumental to his game and his improvement in just his rookie season alone. As you saw in this game, Chris Paul was feeding him the entire game. So Lu Dort, all shout to him. Hopefully he continues to go up, and he's a bright spot for the Thunder. But look, that's some praise right there. Look at that. In between 2 legends right there. That's crazy. So shout out to Lu Dort. All right. Dort out there shooting Dorts from 3. You see what I did there? Anyways, moving off of that. Oh, man. So, I've been very critical, and I have not been a part of the hype that's been going on in that retirement team that is called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every time we talk about they picked up this guy, they picked up that guy, I just looked and said, cool, good for them. This is the first one that made me go, hello? Maybe do my Scooby-Doo because I don't like this pickup. Because before today, they had, what was this? I don't even remember the running back they had his name. Because it doesn't matter, because now they picked up Leonard Fournette. Because the Jacksonville Jaguars just do not like to be outdone by the Cleveland Browns. They are out here doing their best Cleveland Browns impression. Only thing is, Cleveland Browns are trying to be better, but Jacksonville's like, see, we're worse than you. Because they just got rid of him for nothing. Didn't even trade him for a draft pick. Didn't do nothing. They just cut him and said, goodbye, see you. Leaving it to Leonard Fournette to choose wherever he wanted to go. And to be honest, as much as I hate the team, again, you guys making me be very unbiased today talking about the Nets, and I got to talk about the stupid Buccaneers. That's a great choice, because A, he has a quarterback. B, he had no competition at running back. And C, he is possibly going to be one of the key factors to this team being a Super Bowl contender. This is the first time I'm going to actually say that, because I didn't even believe that they were going to be second in our division prior to any of the pickups that they had. But now bringing in, giving some kind of relief for Tom Brady to, if there's those games that he has where, he's looking real 40 when he's at quarterback, and he has somebody he can hand the ball off to now in Leonard Fournette to go out there and just run all over people. So I'm not a fan of this. I hate this move because it makes sense. So me hating it is more respect for Leonard Fournette and Tampa Bay. Now, my fellow Saints fan, yo, Jackie, talk to me. How you feel about this pickup? Are you with me that this should be now? We should be a little bit more. We need to sit up a little bit when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or am I tripping?
So I think our minds were simpatico. Our foreheads were actually matching up on that point, because I was at the exact same place on that. Because when I saw this, I was like, hold up. Wait a minute, what? Like, why would, oh, damn. Because now I thought we was going to win the division hands down. Like, I thought, like you said, I thought Brady was going to get out there and look 40. And, good for 40, but still 40. You know what I mean? 42. So I thought it was going to be, an easy thing. But, I mean, he's still Tom Brady. He's still able to be who he is. And now you get this run game. And that's the thing. I didn't think they were going to have a good run game. So you're always going to have to put the ball in the air. So, we got you. But now I'm like, damn, now I got to actually be worried and now actually pay attention to Tampa Bay. I didn't see my life going like that. I don't like 2020. I don't like it at all.
You and me both, because never in my life, even though Tampa Bay used to get a lot of cheap wins against us, that's just how it always has been. Those are the wins against the Saints would be literally their only wins for the season a lot of the time. But this time, yeah, we should be a little bit worried. But Britt, I see you in the chat, and you're very right. I didn't even mention that. And they're running back that they had now, Joan. I cannot. Is it out? Is it out?
Ronald.
That's what I'm
Ronald.
saying.
So thank you. There we go. It's Ronald Jones the second or third or whatever. Yes, that's who it was. And Bruce Arians did say that.
He's probably the second, because he's a second thought, because none of us can remember who he was.
Well, but Bruce Arians just announced that he plans on keeping Jones as the starting running back, and Leonard Fournette is going to be the backup running back. So I don't know if this is just like him trying to compete or not let people know his plans or scheme or whatever. Or maybe he's trying to do like the old school. I remember when the Giants had their three, they called them the Earth, Wind, and Fire, had their three running backs. Like that. I don't know. But it is weird to see
because
Jones was younger, but he didn't have, I think he had 400 yards last season. He didn't have a great season. Yeah.
But he has to learn. He has to learn it too. Leonard can't just go in there. He has to learn the system. So I think, obviously he can't be the starter right now. But I think by week 3, then
that's what I'm saying. We all know.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be both of what you guys said. I think it's gonna be one of those things where Leonard Fournette might ultimately become the featured back, but they're gonna do a little bit of the Saints, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara kind of situation where they're gonna be using them both. Let Leonard Fournette be the guy to push through.
I'm surprised you haven't said anything about them trying to trade Alvin. What is wrong?
Oh no,
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
We're rebuking that. We're rebuking that.
Yeah.
We are specific in our prayer.
Trade him, you guys will definitely probably not win the division. I have y'all win the division.
Trade him. If we trade him, Chris and I have got to wear brown paper for these 5 minutes of a segment, because I just can't see that happen.
No, I'm not. It's not happening. But here's the reason why I'm not worried about it. I mean, we had one dude taking away all his reps anyways last year, and he's a quarterback named Taysom Hill. So, I mean, I think we'll be all right. But I don't think he's going to get traded. I think he just wants his money. He's trying to make a statement. So we'll see what happens with that. But if it happens, Britt, we'll have that conversation then. But I don't want to have it now. Anyways, we're going to move on so I can wrap up.
Chris, because we already know.
I have been. I am. Another day. Okay, moving on to Zebo, who claims that he got his Twitter account hacked yesterday, because this tweet came out. I believed it. I thought it was real. But this tweet came out of him saying, "I married a hoe," with the facepalm emoji. Straight up. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on there, but okay. But later on, I want to say like about some minutes later, like 40 minutes, 30 minutes later, he put up this tweet saying, because everyone was blowing it up saying, oh my God, Zach Randolph. But he posted this saying, fake news, hacked account. But here's the thing, Zebo. I want to say, were you hacked before around like, I don't know, May? Because you also put up a tweet that was along the same lines. You didn't strictly call it a hoe, but you implied some stuff by tweeting this out. And this one's still on your account. You put out, really for the streets, facepalm emoji, been blind and fooled with the shrug emoji. Now, I don't know your life. But this one been up since May. So I don't know, were you hacked then, or is that about somebody else? I don't know what we're supposed to be believing here. I don't know if you playing the hack card because you don't want the truth to be coming out. I don't know. I'm not gonna dabble in your affairs and what's going on, but I'm just saying that one has been up for a long time. A lot of people have been calling you out. That's what the problem with receipts, because the receipts will tell the entire story. So I don't know, Zebo. I'm gonna let you live on that one. We'll see what you respond with, because you have not responded to us calling you out on that, and the tweet is still on your page. So let's see what happens with that. And last but not least, I want to bring back somebody who stole our hearts here on post up a few weeks ago. This kid was so upset because his daddy called him out on traveling, but now he ain't traveling no more, and he's out here actually cooking his older brother. And it's pretty sad, but it's also pretty badass because Jalen is a real one. So check out Jalen getting his redemption story. You remember Jalen? Remember Jalen? Back. That's right. You tell him, Jalen. One more time. Come here, big bro. Can't guard me. One more time. Watch it. Let's go. Yeah, pump that check, Jalen. Yeah. Can't guard me. Let's go, Jalen. That's right. No travels at all. He's out there dribbling. Go ahead, Jalen. Yeah, that's right. Can't guard me. I love it. That's quoted down there. Yeah, and that's how men post up on that Jalen energy right there. Let's go. And that's the end of post up.
This little boy ever actually get to like the NBA or something like that? Imagine having this footage to go back to.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Everything. I love it.
Yes.
Or if he makes it to the league and then he has an interaction with the refs like he did in the first video, we're gonna be like, oh, yep.
Travel? Yeah.
So cute. I love that. Okay, well, Chris, thank you very much. Now, Jackie, tell us what we not gonna do. Yes.
I was worried because I saw in the chat there was rumors that you might be rapping that intro, and I was very concerned. So I'm glad you just sung me in, girl. Thank you very much. I was worried. I was like, oh Lord.
I was never going to attack that. I'm gonna stick with singing because obviously my vocals are really good. So
okay. All right, guys. So what we not gonna do is sleep on Kyle Kuzma. I have been sleeping on Kyle Kuzma for a minute. He has these perks of greatness. I've been sleeping. So this is a me thing. I'm giving me an L for the day because I've been sleeping on Kyle Kuzma. I don't think, we follow him on Twitter a lot here or Instagram here, and he doesn't really ever say much. He always kind of looks kind of off, but he actually took to social media to do something really worthwhile. I've never seen him do this, and he actually did it on August 30th. So I completely missed it. But he tweeted, here in LA, we've had problems with police. Everywhere in the country, we've had problems with the police. We've recently found out that they're turning off their body cams and being violent with protesters. And here they just killed a man they stopped him for riding his bike, a bike violation. It was ridiculous. But in that same vein, Kyle Kuzma, he tweeted this out. He said, while we're demanding change right now in California, Dems are refusing to pass modest police reform that would keep abusive officers of the state and in qualified immunity. Assembly Dems, are you going to make real change or just pretend like you hear us? Pass SB 731. And then he followed that up with, police can break the law and have not been held accountable for it. SB 731 prohibits this. As a resident of California, I say we need this pass for moderate police reform. Now, SB 731 is a bill that would allow bad officers to be permanently stripped of their badges, and it would become a law to make that mandatory. So for right now, one of the things that the law cites is there's several police officers, but one specifically they cite that has been charged with elderly abuse for beating his elderly and not really fully capacitated father. And then that same officer has been charged several times for beating his wife, but he still has a badge. So I think that we all could probably agree that since he has violent tendencies, he probably shouldn't be a police officer. I think that one's easy for us to all agree on, but he is. But the bill did not pass. It was voted on the first and it didn't pass. And one of the reasons it didn't pass is because the police got together and said that this bill would violate their due process, which I found comical because murder violates your due process. You can't really go through the justice system if you've been killed. So despite all this, it was not passed. But Kuz still out here like about that life. An elected official, Assemblyman Mike Gibson tweeted this. He says, as an elected official and as a Black man, I grieve for Jacob Blake, his sons, and his family. Enough is enough. We have to do better as a nation. And Kuz was like, really? Because he responded to that and said, as a Black man in America and elected official that serves Compton and Watts, why are you working against a bill that would prohibit cops that have misconduct on their names? This would help serve the communities that you represent. Hashtag SB731. I didn't know Kuzma had it in him. So I'm just going to say what I'm not going to do is sleep on Kyle Kuzma going forward. I'm greatly surprised by this. Devin, as my fellow Laker fan, are you surprised to see this from Kyle Kuzma?
I am a little bit surprised, if I'm being honest. I think it's awesome. One thing I was thinking when you were talking about this is he might make terrible fashion choices, but he knows how to tweet. Do a good tweet, and I appreciate it. So shout out to Kyle Kuzma. I think that my what we're not going to do is the same as yours, Jackie.
Yeah, I missed it. My bad, Kuz. What I'm not going to do is put anything weird on your name. I won't even talk about your bad fashion sense going forward. Maybe. Anyway,
For today.
I'll move on for today. Just help me remember, y'all, because y'all know I'm gonna forget. So just help me remember. So anyway, so I personally can't believe that we are just a week away. Yeah, a week, right? A week away from the NFL starting, which is crazy to me because I usually go to training camps. I haven't done any of that. Haven't seen a preseason game. We've talked about that, but Mr. Clowney himself, Jadeveon Clowney, he is going to be, I don't know what he's going to do. If you guys don't know, he's still out there in limbo. He's supposed to be with the Titans because they have actually invited him for a physical. He has turned that down. He has not responded to the Seattle Seahawks either. And then the Cleveland Browns apparently offered him a 1 to 3 year deal worth about $18 million per year, but he's not engaging with anybody. And his agent says he knows he's not engaging with anybody and he's trying to help Clowney engage. Do you want to play or not? I don't exactly know what's going on with this. But even if the Titans start him, he can't really be the starter because he hasn't attended any practices and he hasn't even had a physical yet. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I'll probably ask Chris that in just a second, but I want to just really quickly mention this really quick because I was super excited about this because Josh Gordon has apparently signed a 1 year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. I'm super excited about this, especially with this new weed thing. I'm hoping that now that it doesn't have to worry about the weed. I'm hoping it's just weed that he had a problem with because Josh Gordon is once again going to be playing in the NFL. I am so over the moon about this. So Chris, let me come to you. First and foremost, how you feel about this Josh Gordon news? Are you as excited as I am? He still has to be approved by get the reinstatement from the NFL. They're going to reinstate him. We know this. They always reinstate him. So how do you feel about this?
I love it. I love it. He never really got his chance when he was with the Seahawks the first time because of everything that was going on. I'm a Josh Gordon fan. I feel like it's just been very frustrating because of the continued problems and stuff like that, and the lack of many people. Well, I don't know. I'm a fan of it. I'm excited for it, and I hope that he actually does get to play and they don't continue to go after my guy when he gets some reps. It just sucks because so many years were wasted, and now he's like going towards. Yeah, but I think he's 30 now, and in receiver years, that's ancient. So I just hope that we're still able to get something.
Playing, so maybe it's not so ancient because
and that's true too. Right. Nah, yeah, I'm a fan of Flash Gordon, but not so much where I would spend as much money as I would spend on that ring. I'll tell you that much though.
Oh, yes. Now, what about Clowney? Why do you think he's unresponsive with teams? Why do you think he won't get in there and get a contract done?
I don't understand what's going on with Jadeveon Clowney. That situation has been so crazy to me. I've seen his name next to so many teams this for the entirety of the free agency and going into the training camps and now about to be going into the regular season. I don't understand. Like he is great at what he does. He deserves to get paid. And this Titans instance, I'm cool with because, like you said, they probably wouldn't have even started him. So, like, you know, don't go to a place and be a backup when you are definitely starting material. I mean, he had a great season last season. So I just don't understand. It just feels like he's not trying to get picked up. I get that vibe from him. Right. That might not be the case, but maybe outside looking in, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like. Then say that because there's been so many opportunities, and he was definitely somebody that teams were trying to get and trying to pick up. But for whatever reason, it's just like this saga has just been so weird. It's been confusing.
Yep. I'm excited though. So NFL, go ahead and let us know tomorrow that Josh has been reinstated, so I can just be really happy and excited to see what he does next. I'm excited about that. So it is time to move on because it's time for Brit's
Brit's takes.
All right, guys, before I get started, to be clear, I am not happy that Josh Gordon got a job before my man, Des Bryant. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, we are here, guys. It is time. It is week 1 of college football. NFL starts on September 10th, but week 1 is here. Actually, we have games tonight. College football starts tonight officially. Obviously, we had a little fake week 0, but week 1 starts tonight. We have Central Arkansas and UBA at 5 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock, we have South Alabama and Southern Miss. Obviously, there are a lot of games we don't have. There are still conferences trying to work out their schedules. Some of them are starting later, but we have some college football that starts tonight. So kind of get excited. Obviously, we know the Big Ten and the Pac-12 decided to cancel, then postpone, then who knows what they're actually doing. According to Trump, they're going to be starting tomorrow, whatever the case is. But since they decided to cancel/postpone their season, we're still trying to figure out if they're going to start at a later date or just completely throw away this whole season. But since they both decided to do that, we're actually at a point right now where there are not enough teams to carry out all the bowl games that are available. So the current system of requirements in bowl games are to be eligible for a bowl game includes allowing the FBS teams to count 1 game against the FCS opponent. That averages 90% of the max amount for college scholarships during a 2-year span. So that actually, because of this situation, has moved down to 80% for this season. And then we all know about records for teams. Obviously, that's taken into account. And then it's the minus or plus games, depending on if you're in the FBS or FCS. And then there is the second part of it, which is the record part, which is now insane because according to these new rules that they have just for this season, basically, obviously we know most pretty much all the conferences are just playing in conference games. So they're not going to be playing other conferences, whatever the case is. So that's going to limit the amount of games that they play. Most of them look to be around 10 games. We might see 12 games here and there seasons. So 10 game seasons. And so with the new eligibility that is now being put into place for this season, basically of a 10-game season, all a team needs to do according to these new NCAA rules is have a 5-5 season in order to be bowl eligible. So basically everybody is going to be bowl eligible. You guys know how I feel about participation trophies. This is BS. Like, I do not like participation trophies, and that's what this is. You basically, because you moved it down to 80%, because that's going to be a plus or minus in the game. So even a 5-5 record technically could actually have like a 3-7 record and technically still be bowl eligible according to these rules right now. So 3-7 teams are bowl eligible. Normally, a basic scale, 5-5 teams are bowl eligible, all kind of stuff. And it's just like, what is So every team that's going to play football no matter what your record is, basically, unless you only win 1 or 2 games for the season, you now are eligible and probably will see you in a bowl game. Because the Pac-12 is out and because the Big Ten is out, you don't have enough teams to now fill the bowl game spots. So we're going to see a bunch of like, what did I say earlier? The first game tonight. So Central Arkansas and UBA, that's who we're going to see playing in bowl games. That's what we're going to see. That is what our bowl game season is going to look like, ladies and gentlemen, because we are just giving everybody a chance. Like if y'all team up, we could do a Fumble college and team up and make a team. Guess what? We will be eligible to play in a bowl game, y'all. And bowl game, you get a bunch of like your school gets extra money. You get all the players get, you know, whatever it is, Beats by Dre, and they all get money. They get like little gift cards for like $500, whatever it is, all this kind of stuff, and like basically gift packages with a bunch of stuff in it. Let's just go and have a bowl game so we can get all this free stuff. I don't know. This is crazy. I think it's like the silliest thing that I've ever heard of. Like, then just say certain bowls we're not going to have this year. Like, change the amount of bowl games there are then to less games. It just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of the amount of bowl games, so apparently the Pac-12 and Big Ten, like I said, are now starting to think if they want to just postpone their season, which means, like I said yesterday, they might have a season that starts roughly around Thanksgiving time. Now, if they do that, they have had another conversation about then what do they do? What happens with the CFP, like with the college playoff system? Like we know the college playoff system is, you know, the 4 games or the 4 teams or whatever that go into it. They'll play each other and then you play for the championship game. Right now, that's what the college football playoffs look like. The very first college football playoff we had, Ohio State won. I guess it was, 4 or 5 years ago now that we had that game. Ohio State won, and now Ohio State is in the Big Ten. So are they not going to get the opportunity to play in that? Well, apparently not, but apparently the option that they want to do now for the Pac-12 and for the Big Ten is have a second Rose Bowl. Yes, guys, they're going to do 2 potential Rose Bowls this year. So we're going to have all wake up on hungover on New Year's Day and watch the Rose Bowl, because that is my favorite thing to do on New Year's Day is, you know, sit with my Pedialyte after I've drank all night and watch the Rose Bowl. That's what everybody does New Year's Day. People watch the parade, the Rose Bowl parade, and then they watch the Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day. Well, we're still going to have that Rose Bowl, and that is going to be for the conferences that are playing right now, are going to be playing right now, but they want to do a second Rose Bowl for whoever wins the Pac-12 and whoever wins the Big Ten. So I'm like, so for this season, it's going to be Rose Bowl champion, this team, and also Rose Bowl champion, this team, asterisk next to it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, don't take one of these bowl games that, like, you're going to remove, because I think you should remove some of these bowl games and not every bowl, because nobody wants to watch crappy bowl games. Remove one of these bowl games and then have that be the game that they play for a championship between the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Like, whatever you guys are doing now, it's silly. I don't want to see another bowl game in March when I'm watching March Madness. I just don't want to see that. I think that's silly. Not sorry. I love Pac-12, I love you, Big Ten, but I don't want to see a bowl game with you guys played during spring ball when I'm trying to watch the Combine and when I'm trying to watch March Madness and when we're getting ready for the 2021 NFL Draft that's going to happen in April. I just don't want to see that. So yes, no to all of this. You guys, NCAA, huge mistake. I don't know why you guys are doing this. Chris, what are your thoughts on this college football season? Do you think it's just going to be a bunch of asterisks after asterisks next to each other?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And that's the thing, like, because we know how football goes. Like, football is one of the most unpredictable sports, regardless of how good a team can be. So some of these teams, like you said, if 5-5 could have like this magical season who we know might have not won a game last season, they get to these bowl games and we watch them get blown out because they're eligible, so they made it in the game, but they're not really that good. They just had good luck for the season. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like any of them. And then putting the asterisks, because you're right, because how serious are we going to take some of these wins? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't like any of that. I didn't know any of that, and I don't like any of it. I think it makes more sense to take out some of the bowls, and I don't feel like they even need to add that kind of handicap to make it so more teams are eligible. That's stupid. It's all stupid. Makes no sense.
Right. Because there's less team games, so they're like, oh well, we need to fill these bowl games. But I'm like, it doesn't matter because people are going to watch those games anyway. It does not matter. No one wants to watch two sucky teams playing against each other in a bowl game. I'm sorry.
No, 100%. No, I completely co-sign that. That makes no sense. Just take out some of the bowl games. It's fine. You'll make the money back next year.
Right. Now, I mean, really, you're wasting money by putting on a bowl game that really you can't have fans that anyway no one's going to watch on TV. So let's just save y'all some money and not even have this situation. But that is it for Brit's Take today. Let me know what y'all think about this. And let me know what you guys think about having 2 potential Rose Bowls this season in the comments below.
Stupid.
Oh, wait, Brit, are you expecting your win 1 tonight? Clippers, Nuggets?
Ooh.
Have to get that in before we go. Chris, we can redeem ourselves now.
Okay. I actually haven't really thought a lot about tonight because I always get nervous with rests. Rests are good sometimes, but sometimes, the Nuggets are off this momentum of just playing. So I think the Clippers might be a little rusty. Doc said he anticipates Patrick Beverley playing, but he's still marked as questionable right now for playing. So, and I think when he gets back in, it's going to be another shift in the lineup. It's going to be another, we got to get used to him. So I think the Nuggets possibly could actually win tonight. I'm not going to say that the Clippers are going to 100% win tonight. I think the Nuggets could win tonight. After this show, I'm actually doing my predictions on my channel for the Western Conference for the second round. So I'll sit with it a little bit longer. But I did wear my Buffalo Braves, which is a throwback Clippers shirt. If you guys didn't know, the Clippers originally were the Buffalo Braves. So I got my Clippers stuff on today, and I'm excited. But I'm not anticipating that this is going to be a win for us necessarily.
Wow.
Okay.
This is news making. Johnson, I think the Clippers will win tonight. Wow.
I thought the Mavs, it was going to go to a 6-game series. So, I'm not crazy. I am crazy, but I'm not crazy. If that makes sense.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up the show for the day.
Chris, wait, so we can
Oh God. For this game, I don't know. This is the hardest series to me in the second round. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially this series, though, of all the series, this is the hardest one, especially this game one, because Nuggets coming off of playing really hot, like you said, but the Clippers ended their season, their last series hot. I don't know, man. This was tough. I need some time before the game. I don't know yet. I don't know
about this game, but I think it'll be Clippers in 7.
See, I can't pick a number.
The series? I'm not going to do the series. I mean, Clippers are going to win the series.
Obviously, yeah.
I'll get back to you.
But I am specific in my prayer. Dear Lord, please let the Nuggets win this series. Amen.
Whoa! This thing. Oh my God. We need LA versus LA. No, I will not stand for that.
Though, you don't want to see us. Y'all don't want to see us. That is going to be the toughest series. That is going to be the NBA Finals. The Western Conference Finals, if it's the Clippers and Lakers. That is basically the NBA Finals. Whoever wins the Western Conference Finals wins it all.
I said what I said, Lord. I said what I said.
Make sure the man upstairs has heard your prayer, Jackie.
Well, I got Clippers in 5 in the chat, so we'll see. Let us know what y'all think about this.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. We will be back again to figure out and to discuss if Britt was right in her prediction, at least for tonight's game. And on that note, let's wrap up the show. Subscribe, tap the bell, give this video a thumbs up, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Go Clippers!
My High City in the building!
Oh, my God.